Welcome to a new episode of BLOC Art News. My name is Brenda Clark and I'm founder of BLOC Art, the local art portfolio where we represent 40 Latin American artists, with 30 are from Peru. Before telling you about our international and local news, let's first think outside the block. Now, international news. Well, I'm going to start with this one because I kind of feel like very healthy envy in this case. It's that the New York's High Line asked the people to pick its next installation. Yes, well, why I envy that? Because in Peru, we haven't, till this moment, heard about any open call of choose your favorite installation in a public space. I hope and I wish that that call will become sooner than later. And there are around 80 artists that have submitted proposals for the park, the elevated park on Manhattan's west side. And I have one of my favorites that is done and proposed by Nick Cave, called Amalgam. As I do not like labels, that's why I love that word and I totally embrace it. Let's check it out. Now, Cecilia Alemani, director and chief curator of the Highline Art, she explains to the Art newspaper that this is both an exciting and challenging time to think about the role public art plays in our cities and in our lives. Also, how contemporary public art has gained a greater responsibility to act as a catalyst for meaningful conversations about our society at large. Streets and squares and traditional notions of public space were completely transformed by the pandemic, then further reinvented by demonstrations and protests. Now, I want to make a note here. Every single Sunday for the last 2 months, I've been sharing this live shows called Artsy Sundays with Rachel Ann Clark, aka Queen of Hearts, up there in New York City, and we've talked about the power of art in protests, and how this also you can see it in art in politics. No, so it's very important, and how is a way of understanding each other, and not necessarily only inside a museum, inside a gallery, or inside an artist's studio, but also in the streets. No, besides the street art, of course, but in this case, what we've been experiencing and how we can use this in different governments all over the globe, and not necessarily and only just in a few. No, so let's make a shout out and let's take this as an amazing example of how they are considering art during this pandemic, and of course all the struggle that is happening in the different states.
We are continuing the conversation about the power of art, because their art is a mechanism for creating community. So we are here and we are excited to have everybody join us, and we always intend that this is an open, collaborative conversation. And so we want to create a community between people who love art and people who create art. And I think Brenda and I fall in between there, because we create, our creativity lies in the exhibits that we create.
In new developments, well, do you think that you can turn a nightclub into an art venue during a pandemic? Well, yes, that just happened, and that just happened in Berlin. They just did it. How so? Berghain is the exclusive nightclub that just transformed into a huge art venue during this COVID-19. Now it's called the Studio Berlin, that is offering a way to circumvent the toughest door policy in the world and see works by Olafur Eliasson, Tillmans, and Anne Imhoff. Let's check this out. From September 9, visitors will be able to see works by more than 80 artists at Berghain, including in the Panorama Bar pictured over here. This club is currently closed because of the pandemic, and in this case, let's analyze how different people have collaborated to reinvent the concept of this place. This exhibition is open to everyone aged 16 and over. For the first time, even grandmas with Zimmer frames will be able to get in, says Boros, who began working on the concept at the start of the lockdown in March. For 3 months during the confinement period, we were speaking to artists on the phone every day. Suddenly, everyone had time. I spoke to Olafur Eliasson for 3 hours on FaceTime. The only limit was that the phone battery ran down. The artists were all in their studios instead of on airplanes. We wanted to show this incredible artistic production. Berlin was frozen, so why not think differently? Why not work together? Again, another great example of thinking outside the block, disruption, and collaboration. So let's try to crack this up. Collectors, artists, and well, it seems that it's been funded by the Boros Foundation. So it's been funded by the collector and his foundation. I guess that probably they will work out something with potential sponsors, but let's try to keep that on the loop. I'll share some more stuff about this and this month's story, so I suggest you to follow us if you are not doing it right now. Subscribe also to our channel so you can keep track on every single one of our apps, and I'll bring more stuff about this. The brand new female artist who is joining our portfolio, well, is Ivet Salazar, 30-year-old artist that studied design and arts at Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú, and she further complemented her studies at the École des Beaux-Arts du Mans in France. She intertwines her Japanese influence, coming from her grandmother who was born in Japan, with the Peruvian culture. Let's discover more about Ivet.
Hello, I am Ivet Salazar. I'm a Peruvian artist. I work a lot with the idea of identity. I've been following my roots and creating my own identity through art, exploring different kinds of techniques, especially the ancient ones, related to textiles and ceramics most of the time, mixing the past, my family past, with the current exploration in contemporary aesthetics. One of the pieces I'm showing in this exhibition seeks my Japanese roots. It's made with an old sweater which belonged to my grandmother, the last Japanese of my family. And I made this piece by knitting with a technique called sakiori, which rescues old textile pieces to create new ones, just the way I was trying to rescue this almost forgotten identity in my family to create my own. The second piece I show here is a piece that seeks my Peruvian roots through pre-Columbian knowledge, in this case an ancient technique of the Paracas and Nazca cultures, but I made them of ceramics. So as a result, I have a ceramic solid but fragile textile, just as the pre-Columbian identity. And in both cases, I speak from my position as a woman. So I'm very glad and grateful to be able to show these pieces in the middle of this complex context, and to share this space with some very talented artists. I'm very, very grateful. I hope you enjoy. Bye.
Thank you very much, Yvette, for sharing those words, and also to get the opportunity to represent you worldwide. In case if any one of you is interested to check out more about her art pieces available for purchase, well, you can drop a comment here, send a DM, or send an email to contact@bloc-art.com, and we'll be pleased to assist you. A special and brief note is that she just entered to a very, very important Peruvian collection, and Also, she was introduced to our portfolio thanks to the curator and Peruvian curator Hannah Ugas, who created Herencias Colaborativas, our very first virtual exhibition with Mia collection. See how it goes? It's true collaboration through different agents in this ecosystem. That's the way how we can grow together. Well, guys, that was everything for today's episode. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. And of course, I will be able to keep bringing out more content and news for you. What else? Well, keep safe, be a skeptic, question everything, and think outside the block.